How long have you had diabetes?
58 years.
And I see that you're wearing a medalist shirt as well. Where'd you get that from?
From the Joslin Clinic. Yes.
From part of the study?
Yes, absolutely.
How long have you been a part of the study?
Probably for about 6 or 7 years now.
What made you want to join?
Well, actually, I didn't know about the study until a friend of ours sent us the article about the two brothers who were involved in the study, and they were in their 90s. And it had always been one of my goals to be involved in any study related to diabetes research. And so I wrote Dr. King a letter, and I said I would be very happy to participate. And then things started to move after that, because I'm involved in a couple of other studies too. One out of Cleveland and the other one out of Philadelphia.
What are those studies?
The one out of Philadelphia is in regard to the human biological data interchange, and that is mostly data relative to family and a history of such. And the one out of Cleveland was in regard to nephropathy. But they have not needed any fluids for a couple of years now. So I think that the study has run out of funding. I was 7 years old, 1955, and it was Halloween. And I spent 2 weeks at the hospital. And the things I remember about it, there was a young girl who was in she had polio, and she was in an iron lung in the hall. And being invited to a Halloween party, and then being told that I couldn't have any cider or donuts. And then the other thing was, it's a teaching hospital, and I was one of the subjects that was brought down to this rather large room where there were a group of residents, and they were looking at my stomach because I was very skinny. And so those were my memories. And that and being told that I couldn't eat candy anymore. So wasn't a good thing for a 7-year-old who loved candy to hear.
When were you able to start eating candy again? Have you?
No. I listened really well. No, I did not. I just, you know, I asked my mother, I said, was I ever resistant to taking injections? And so she said no, because it made me feel so much better. And because I had been so sick, and I was not. I went through a certain amount of rebellion in terms of candy, but no, I never ate donuts. I didn't eat sweet things at all. And we did change, I was one of 6, so we did change some of our eating habits. But it was okay. I wasn't upset about it. And after I got through, and then when I did go trick-or-treating, it became more competitive to see how much I could bring home, not how much I could eat when I got home. So, you know, the fun part of life just took on a different perspective.
What's the biggest change you've seen in diabetes care that has helped you?
Oh, well, you have to understand, when I started out, you know, it was insulin, it was glass syringes, metal needles, pumice stones, and if we didn't get the burrs out of those needles, that really hurt. And it was 1 injection a day. I was in the 8th grade, and then I finally expressed interest in learning how to do my own injection. And the school nurse came to our home, and that was the first day that I did my own shot. So I did the injection, and then I proceeded to go and throw up. So for me, so that was the only time that happened. But it was rather ironic, you know, to experience that. And but I was always busy. I was always active. I think one of the best things for me was to go to a camp for kids who had diabetes. And it was a co-ed camp, and it was Camp Homey Dakota in Newberry, Ohio, and it's still in existence today. And matter of fact, my husband and I a few years ago went back there to visit the camp. And we were in an area called the Squirrel Cage, and that was where everyone would meet in the morning before we went out to, you know, follow your little routine. And so when we went through the squirrel cage, we were looking down, and there were all these bricks that said, "In memory of," because all these people had died. So I looked at my husband and I said, I think it's time for us to go, to get out of there. But it was for a month in the summer, and I went to that camp for about 5 years. So it was a great camp. And I think it was really important because it helped to reduce my sense of loneliness or being the only person who had diabetes and not having to hide it, to think that I had done something wrong, and because it was really a death sentence at the time. And we were basically told, well, you don't have to worry about a future because you won't have one. I mean, that's where medical science was at that point, and that was the message that either obviously or not was transmitted to patients and their families. So, but I've certainly disproved that, so, and I'm really happy about that. But going back, I think exercise, because I would ride century rides, bicycle rides, and now my husband and I walk 2 miles a day. So we try to be as busy as we can, and amidst all the challenges that diabetes has to present. And it certainly is filled with challenges. Sometimes it's second to second. But you try to make sense out of it, and then you just keep moving on, because if you stay stuck, then that could be your death sentence. So, and I have a very supportive group of friends and family and medical people. So it's not only myself. I might be the one who has to do the, whatever. But I have a lot of people on the sidelines who are cheering for me. So, which is really critical, I think. And then the course of diabetes has evolved, from urine testing to blood testing to, you could virtually take care of yourself, which is what you have to do anyhow. But it's really incredible to have seen all these changes occur over the course of time, and to think that I'm still here after 58 years, it amazes me. So.
Do you have any advice you'd like to offer to somebody who's just been diagnosed?
Never to lose your sense of hope, and to do the best they can, and within what other, requirements they have in their own life, and but just to realize that there will be a cure someday, and maybe not in my lifetime, but maybe in some child's lifetime. So that's why I would do anything, and that's why both my husband's in the control group, and both of us are donating our organs to Joslin. And then we were able to find another organization because it's not a whole body donation, and they will accept the rest of us. So, yeah, so it's just, I think that's the main purpose, and that there will be a cure. But again, with anything, you need the money to support that. So, you want to see that happen sooner than later. So, and I want to thank the people here too, because without them doing this, we wouldn't be here. So we'll do anything.